Everyone knows of South Africa's sky-high murder rate, over 60 per day, more than 8 times the global average. But through the collapsing infrastructure and total culture of lawlessness, tens of thousands of people are killed on our roads every year. Perhaps equally scandalous as our massive murder rate. This is a testimony to the death traps that South Africa's roads have become, and somehow we've just learned to live with it. Over 30 per day, 27 per 100,000, almost 20 times higher than countries such as Sweden and Denmark. In any other country, such a catastrophe would spark national mourning. Here, it's just another Monday. Because in South Africa, road deaths are so constant and so routine that we no longer even notice when they happen. Earlier this week, a bus on South Africa's N1 highway in Limpopo province veered off course while negotiating a steep mountain pass near Louis Trichardt and plunged down an embankment. The resulting crash claimed no less than 42 lives, including the lives of 7 children, and dozens more were left injured. Yet, unlike in any other country, this tragedy seems to go by in South Africa almost unnoticed. There is no national day of mourning, no extended period of national reflection. We have become so accustomed to the death on our roads, so habituated to this tragedy, that very few of us are genuinely shocked by this. Why is it that when dozens perish in one accident, we barely raise an eyebrow, whereas in other nations a similar event might lead to a national outpouring of grief and newspapers filled to the brim with stories of what happened here, memorial services and other calls for accountability? Why do we in South Africa absorb this level of carnage like grim background noise? The reality is that this Limpopo tragedy is just one example, one among dozens of tragedies on this country's roads where 34 people now die on average every day. And in today's video, I will explain why the ANC government is largely responsible for this continuing massacre. Throughout its 3 decades in power, the ANC has facilitated the complete and utter destruction of South Africa's infrastructure. This pertains not only to the South African roads, but also to water and sanitation, energy provision, and our national telecommunications network. When it comes to the country's roads and highways, South Africa's infrastructure has suffered a drastic decline in terms of quality and the safety of our national road network. Back in 2022, the South African National Roads Agency, or SANRAL, estimated that there are about 25 million potholes in this nation's roads, roughly 7 million more potholes than there are households. And if you drive virtually anywhere in the country, you'll know that this figure only continues to grow every year as the government is utterly incompetent when it comes to maintaining the nation's road. Indeed, SANRAL reports that South Africa now has a road maintenance backlog of about 400 billion rands, or just over $22 billion US. The government's complete and utter inability to maintain this country's roads, of course, comes at an immense cost to the economy. Not even accounting for delays and other costs, it is estimated that just road accidents alone cost the South African economy over 200 billion rands, or $12 billion annually. This amounts to a staggering 2.7% of our GDP. But there is a cost that is even greater than the annual loss in potential economic growth, and that is the loss of life on our country's roads. It is estimated that around 34 people die as a result of traffic accidents in South Africa every single day, or around 12,500 people are killed every year. And the problem is just getting worse and worse by the year. In January of this year alone, the government reported that over the Christmas holidays of 2024 and 2025, a time when people generally travel more, a 5.3% increase in road accidents was reported when compared to the previous year at the same time. Indeed, Our data suggests that around 300,000 South Africans have died on this country's roads since the start of the infrastructural decay in 1994. But it is not just the complete lack of road maintenance itself that has contributed to the massacre of hundreds of thousands of people on our roads. It is also the increase in traffic caused by the complete and utter collapse of the country's railways under the ANC. Transnet freight rail's volume of goods transported hit a multi-decade low in recent years. Mining companies in coal and iron ore have repeatedly complained that derailments and capacity constraints prevent them from shipping all their products to ports. In 2023, the situation reached a nadir. In that year alone, it was estimated that turmoil at Transnet, including port bottlenecks and rail failures, cost the economy as much as 6% of the GDP. This is an astounding figure, as it amounts to a staggering monetary loss of around 533 billion, or just over $30 billion every year due to completely preventable breakdowns in logistics. But again, apart from the sheer economic cost, the decline of this country's once great railway system has led to the drastic increase of massive freight transport vehicles on our roads and is largely to blame for the rapid deterioration of our road network as a whole. Just to give you an idea about how bad the situation on South Africa's roads truly are, consider this. The mortality rate for South Africans on the country's roads is just over 20 per 100,000 citizens. Despite only having about 1/3 as many vehicles per capita as the developed world, our mortality rate on the country's roads is up to 5 times higher than the global average. Here, fewer cars somehow mean more funerals. In fact, there are even proportionally fewer road deaths in places like India, that globally are renowned for its exceptionally bad driving, than they are in South Africa. There are even entire YouTube channels dedicated to highlighting how terrible Indian drivers are, and yet South Africans die on our roads at a higher rate proportionally than even they do. This is not congestion, it's collapse. And all of this only points to one thing. The problem is not merely the sheer volume of traffic, but rather the systematic failure of infrastructure, law enforcement, design, emergency response, and public safety culture. It means our roads aren't just dangerous, they are lethal by design. Collapsing infrastructure, absent policing, drunk driving, unroadworthy taxis that are merely allowed to continue to cause havoc. All of this means that while the development world's highways move economies, ours bury breadwinners. A lot of attention has rightly been drawn to the South African government's inability to maintain law and order, with the results being that no less than 75 people are murdered in this country every single day. A lot of attention has also rightly been drawn to the systematic slaughter faced by white South Africans at the hand of black Marxists calling for us to be slaughtered, and for this we are very grateful. But very little is ever said about the responsibility this government bears for the hundreds of thousands of deaths on our roads that have occurred under their watch. And while ministers and members of parliament loot the national treasury, the country's infrastructure simply continues to collapse more and more every single day. And this is not only costing the country billions of dollars, it is costing hundreds of thousands of lives. At the end of the day, all the nation's races in South Africa suffer at the hands of the ANC, which, through not only its incompetence but sheer carelessness, has allowed the country's once functioning road networks to be completely destroyed. In a recent video here at the Willem Petsche Group, we highlighted just how devastating the complete infrastructural collapse of this country under the ANC truly is. We even put a number to this. Check out our full report where we highlight the mind-blowing figures of just how much damage has actually been done by simply clicking on the link appearing on your screen right here. and support our work by becoming a paid member of the Willem Petse Group. Through your support can we continue making these videos to change the hearts and minds of people. Goodbye and God bless.